Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today's going to be a video on something that I've been pretty nervous and scared to talk about for quite some time now, and that's my journey with cancer. Just a quick backstory, when I was 19 years old, I started having swelling in my abdomen. I was having localized pain in my stomach, which also radiated down my legs, and so at that time it was just kind of like every now and again I'd have flashes where it was just pulsating pain. However, after quite some time and not being able to stand anymore, I was taken to emerge where they thought I just had really bad kidney stones, until an ultrasound showed that I had a large unidentified mass in my abdomen. Now, multiple scans ensued and biopsies. What this showed was that this unidentified mass was a tumor that was malignant, and that it was testicular cancer that ended up metastasizing into my stomach. So I had to undergo chemotherapy, multiple surgeries, which had its own complex nature. They found that my aorta was wrapped around this tumor multiple times, and this tumor is also millimeters away from my kidneys. And again, I can talk about the chemotherapy and my experiences in a different, longer video, but when I was going through chemotherapy, they introduced a drug called bleomycin. Now, if you're familiar with that, you know that it's not a good substance at all. When they give you these drugs during chemo, they read the label, how much they're giving you, side effects, you name it. But I knew that this was getting serious when they started using the terms aggressive, and we could only use so much. And also I had to get more blood work, and I had to go see cardiologists and get respiratory therapists around, and I'd blow into machines to see my lung capacity. And it's because that drug really affects your lungs. Now, fast forward to about 4 years ago, I'm done chemo, I'm cancer-free, I'm living a healthy life, and honestly, I just thought I had spring allergies. I started taking all the allergy medication I could. It wouldn't clear up. In fact, it started getting worse. I remember just laying in bed, like struggling to breathe and falling asleep, but then waking up in a panic because I just wasn't getting enough oxygen into my body. So I made a doctor's appointment, and they referred me again back to a cardiologist and respiratory therapist. Now, when I went to that appointment, I was blowing into that machine again, getting awful scores, and they just said to me, you have the lung capacity of a 60-year-old smoker. You need prescription for an inhaler, and here's some over-the-counter allergy medications. And she just told me, well, as long as you don't plan on running any long distances. And I had this flashback to when I was going through chemotherapy and I was taking those same tests, and the therapist said there too, hey, as long as you're not a distance runner, you'll be fine. And I just remember thinking to myself, that's not going to be my fate. So I went home. I ended up getting all the prescriptions. I got the inhaler. I put it beside my bed. And I remember looking at it at nighttime and just being like, this is not my fate. I'm not going to let this be who I am. It was at that moment I decided I was going to start running. So I set my alarm. I worked at 7 the next morning, so I set it for 4:30 a.m. Say, I'm just going to go for an hour run, just totally oblivious to what that even meant. And I didn't tell anybody. So I just woke up at 4:30. I got on my running stuff, and I went out the door, and I started running, and I made it 3 houses. I just remember turning around, being so just disgusted with myself, crying, and I got home, and my ankles were already swollen because one of the surgeries they did kind of like what they call a flush of my lymphatic system from my abdomen down. So really, when I put stress on my body at that time, um, all the fluid would just travel, and even that little 3 house run left my feet in a state where I just could barely wear shoes. So I sat down on the floor, my back on the floor, and I put my feet up against the wall and had to sit there for 45 minutes until, I was able to really be functional again. And I just remember laying there thinking, how am I going to do this? What am I going to do? And at that time, I just decided there's no way that's going to be my best. And I said, I'm going to get out there tomorrow morning. I'm going to run 4 houses. Whatever it is, I'm going to do this. And I dedicated myself for it. So next day, same thing. Up at 4:30, got my running stuff on, and I made it 3 houses again. Just no progress. And, I just felt defeated. And I didn't know what the heck I was doing, but I knew I needed to keep at it. And I just knew that I needed to keep putting one foot in front of that other and getting out that door every single day. And you know what? 3 houses turned into 6, which turned into 9. And I remember one time I actually made it around the little cul-de-sac thing that we had there. In one go without walking. And I was ecstatic. And that was a 2-minute run. But I was so proud of myself. And, I just kept going. And it got to the point where I was just like, you know what? I'm done looking at my watch. I'm just going to go. And I'm going to run. And we're just going to see where this ends. So I started running, and I just kept going. It hurt. Breathing, it was so hard, and my throat hurt. And I looked down at my watch. It said 10 minutes. And I'll never forget the feeling when I hit double digits in time, where I was just like, holy shit, And at that time, I stopped being so sad and mad at myself. And I just got this overwhelming feeling of, motherfucker, let's go. And the next 5 minutes, I just kept running. It was painful. It sucked. But I was just like, I was looking up at the sky. It's 5 a.m. I'm just yelling, try me, bring it on. I got this. And I got home that day after a 15-minute run, and I had to sit on that wall for 2 hours to get that the water out of my feet. But I knew at that point I'd done something. I'm making progress, and that was my battle. And I just didn't back away from it, and I just kept going. And so I just kept improving and improving, and it was such a long process. And, it got to the point where I was just like, I'm going to try a running program. And so I go online, I get this running program, and I just remember reading it and saying, warm up. And I'm like, what? That's all I do. So I was just joking around, and I was just like, I have a warm up and a faster warm up. And, just started trying my best to nail that for a couple weeks. And I'll never forget, it was this one run, and I was going down the highway, and I'm going down this bridge, and all of a sudden, it didn't hurt to breathe anymore. My legs didn't hurt. I felt comfortable, and I almost had this euphoric feeling. And that was my first time ever experiencing a running high. And it was that time that, for the first time, running didn't hurt. And I actually thoroughly enjoyed it. It wasn't just a challenge anymore. It was enjoyment. And for me, that's just like, when you experience that, after not even being able to run 3 houses, I mean, I was on another planet. And all of a sudden I just started thinking about, instead of how hard things were and how am I going to take the next step, it's like, I'm going to run a marathon, And you know what? I'm going to run across Alberta. I'm going to run across the province. And it was about 3 months later. That's exactly what I did. I reached out to the Terry Fox Foundation, told them my plans, and in November 2020, I ran across the province of Alberta and raised a bunch of money for cancer research. After that, my plan was, you know what? I want to qualify for Boston. And it's been a long road. But in May of last year, I qualified at the Vancouver Marathon running a 2:57. And so this April, I will be running the Boston Marathon. Now, running didn't save my life by curing my cancer. But it taught me not to be a victim. It taught me to take control of my own actions, to believe in myself, and understand that people might not understand what you're doing. They might not see your dream, but that's why it's your dream. Taking accountability for who you are, and just knowing that the work you put in is exactly what you're going to get out of it. If you want something, go get it. It doesn't matter what other people think. As long as you believe in yourself, great things are going to happen, especially if you put in that work. When you put yourself in that situation to succeed, you're going to meet people that have similar mindsets, similar goals, and similar drive. Don't be someone that just says, what if? Oh, I could have. Maybe I should have. Work for it. Have it. Enjoy it. You only get to live once, if you believe in that. And make the most of it. Life is hard. And this is just my journey. And you know what? I've had it amazing compared to a lot of people out there. And so just respect other people. You don't know what the next person next to you is going through. If they have a dream, show them love. Show them support. Don't knock them for trying something new just because you don't understand it. And if you are that person that's out there striving and working hard and, trying to be your best self, surround yourself with the people that love you. Whether you're the person that can leave the house and run 10 miles, or you're the person that leaves the house and can run 3 houses. I mean, we all start from different places, and success means different to everybody. So I want to open up the floor to each and every one of you. If you've been through something similar and you want to leave a comment down below talking about your story, please do. Or if you don't want to share publicly but you want to talk, I'll leave my Instagram in the description below, and you feel free to message me. It's one of those things where a lot of people don't want to talk about it. I didn't. I'm only now just opening up, but it's something that we should normalize and we should talk about, because life is hard, and if you know someone that's going through something similar, then share them this video. Yeah, this isn't about likes and comments and whatever. This is just about mental health and opening ourselves up and being vulnerable and talking about our problems, but working together to just build this community where we can all support each other. And that's not just cancer. There's a lot of other diseases out there and a lot of other mental health issues that people really just need to talk about. And so please, when you are leaving comments down below or messaging me, don't worry if it's cancer specific. When I do these shoe reviews and running vlogs, it's not me just trying to do something on the internet. I just truly value running and everything that is brought into my life. And this is a big part of who I am. I've built myself back up because of running, and it saved me time and time again. And I really just wouldn't be the human I am today without running. Thanks everyone for listening, and if you needed to hear it, I love you all. So let's have a great day and just keep working towards our goals.